Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the purpose of this video is not to tell you what to do or tell you how to do it. The purpose of this video is to make sure that you know that there are other options. So in the comments of my wiring video and in the comments of a few different posts lately on different groups, I've seen people asking, can I wire this myself so I don't have to buy a Terminator X? And the answer is yes. You can use a stock harness, or you can use... I just want to present those options to people, and I want to kind of divide it up by how I would do it, in my opinion. So, if you didn't know these options exist, now you will. And if you did, so be it. And if you bought a Terminator X for your stock 5.3 and you love it, that's cool too. If you're telling the next guy that he has to buy a Terminator X for a stock 5.3, I'm going to take exception to that. We're going to disagree on that. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the video. I'll have a few pictures, a few links for you guys in the comments down below. And those of you who want to leave angry comments, I'm a minute and 6 seconds in, so you probably already left one a minute ago. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. I'm JR. That's Peanut. Army crawling around like a weirdo, and Coconut. Today I want to talk about, real briefly, engine management systems. Sorry, I'm hooked on phonics today. And what is the best choice for you? And as you can see, I have some different things here. Last week I showed you guys how to wire up this 03 to 07 style drive-by-wire, which you can do with a stock fuse box, and that video is up on the channel. You can wire this stuff for free and get a PCM from somebody like John Flanders for 150 bucks and be on your way with, you know, a cam and some headers and a little 5.3 or a little 6.0 and be done. And the reason that I bring you guys this kind of content is not because I think that this is the only possible way to do it. Obviously, there's many ways to do it, from a Terminator X Max to a Haltech. There's way better options than a Terminator X if you really want to get into it. But everybody's different, right? Peanut's not Coconut, Coconut's not Peanut, and neither one of them are a German Shepherd. So they're a little different. And your main options, what you're going to see everybody go to, the Holley has quickly become the darling of the industry, and it's because they have a good marketing department, and they really make people feel like it's the only way, or it's somehow easier than hooking up a stock harness or an aftermarket harness. There's a gentleman in my Facebook group who sells harnesses for about 200 bucks. You can find them on eBay for 200 bucks. You can use a stock harness for free. This little secret right here is what's going to go in my Dodge. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Some of you know what it is. That one's not for everybody, and it's not for my viewers, but it's the best for me after I looked and did some soul searching and thought about some stuff and decided what was best for me. So it really comes down, if we're talking about Terminator X or Terminator whatever versus a factory ECU like I have in Darrell, it comes down to a real simple question for me. There are definitely many pros to the Holley. It's easier to use. It doesn't magically tune itself. You have to know some stuff. You have to know how to wire it. You have to understand how, you have to be willing to learn the tables and how to use them. Don't buy into that like it's just going to crawl up on the engine and install itself and tune itself for you. It's literally the same connections as the stock harness or any aftermarket harness you can buy for a couple $100 bucks on eBay. You're going to hook up your map sensor. You're going to hook up your knock sensors. You're going to hook up your crank sensor and your cam sensor. You're going to hook up all those things with the Holley, and you're going to feed it 12 volts. You're going to feed it 12 volt switched, and you're going to feed it a ground. Those things are true regardless if it's my little secret package over here, if it's a Holley, if it's a Haltech, doesn't matter. So you got to get that out of the way first. If you really want a plug and play setup, none of them truly are, okay? You're gonna have to do a little bit. But like I said, you can get into, you can get into that for free if you follow my videos. You can tune it with Tuner Pro and PCM hammer and a $50 dongle, wire it yourself, and you're into it for 50 bucks. That's the bottom end. It's a little bit clumsy. You got to learn a little bit more. There's some downsides to it, right? It's not super adaptable. Daryl's tuned with HP tuners because the free tools weren't out 3 years ago when I put that together. But 3 years ago when I put that together, if the only way was a $1,600 Terminator X Max, because that's a 4L80E and it's a drive-by-wire engine, it wouldn't have been running. I didn't have $1,600 back then. So you have to ask yourself, are you really going to use the features that it has? Okay, it does boost by time. Do you know what that is? Are you going to use that? Are you really going to use that? Because you get on a group like LS Swaps and Solutions, and suddenly everybody's going up against Don Gartlett's or Jeff Lutz, and it's amazing. It's amazing, and their shit is actually sitting in a box, you know, and it doesn't run in the back of their truck. So, you know, I hate to see when people do these crazy things where they like say, I'm going to put a carb on it because it's easier, and then they put a Phytech on top of the carb intake, and then they put a Sniper on top of that because it self-tunes, you know. I hate to see when people go out and buy a Terminator X because they think it's going to do everything for them, and it doesn't, and then they pay somebody to install it, and then they pay somebody to tune it. That's so your first option, your bottom dollar option, is to do what I've described here. Use the factory everything, use PCM hammer, use Tuner Pro to tune it, use the $50 dongle to write it, and be done. And you can do that with a cam, you can do it with a stock engine. If you're going to get into forced induction, I wouldn't bother. There's no custom OSs for it. I just wouldn't do it. Over here, the middle of the road option, HP tuners. You don't have, I can make all the changes I want. People need to understand that. I don't make any changes. People are like, oh, well, it's a Holley, I can just make all the changes I want. Well, I don't make any changes. Like, once I had this dialed in 2 years ago, I haven't screwed with it since. Why would I? Like, it's not Camshaft Tuesday. I didn't just go out and pull the cam and lifters and change them for a slightly different one for no reason. It's not, you know, Spark Saturday, I think I need 2 degrees. It runs, it drives, it does burnout, so I don't mess with it anymore. I'm never going to change the cam. You know, the engine size is never going to change, so I don't care. And it doesn't cost, if those things did change, it wouldn't cost me anymore. And if I wanted to add the turbo to it, it wouldn't cost me anymore. There's custom OSs for it. I don't have to relicense it. I don't want to deal with buying credits. I bought credits once, 90 bucks 3 years ago, and it's done. So, to go over to the Holley or an aftermarket solution like this. This weekend, if this is still here, I put this up for sale. It looks like I broke a coil pack. I always break a coil pack. I put this up for sale, and not for a lot of money, because I have some stuff going on up here personally that I want some money for. I've spent about a lot of money in recent months to start my own business and get it off the ground. So, but anyway, if this is still here this weekend, I'm going to get that 5.3 off the engine stand. I'm going to put the 6.0 on the engine stand, and I'm going to show you guys from start to finish exactly how to make this run, which is the same process for that. So, but yeah, again, like this guy here with no muffler on his Ram and his 4.7, I got him covered. I don't care. Aftermarket ECUs. If you're doing something real basic, like Daryl with a 200 shot, and that would push me well into the 11s, I don't need a Holley for that. I don't need anything aftermarket for that. Daryl with a turbo, then you start getting into where you want an aftermarket solution. Then you start getting into where things are a little bit easier. I used to be of the opinion that you could make, 1,000 horsepower on stock ECU just fine, and you didn't need to mess with it. I've kind of changed that a little bit. I've used a few Terminators. They're really, really easy to use. I don't see any reason not to use one if you're going forced induction. It's a lot easier to use. It's a lot easier to tune. You still have to know some stuff though. If you think you're gonna go buy 2 turbos, slap them onto that turd, slap a Terminator X onto it, and it's just gonna do everything for you, you're wrong. You're gonna have to learn how to tune, period, if you wanna do this. Or you're gonna have to pay somebody to tune for you. A lot of money. So, but yeah, when you actually, I wouldn't do it with nitrous, because nitrous, with a nitrous plate, you just get a wet system and you spray fuel with it and you're done. The end. You don't have to worry about it. But with a turbo, I would go with an aftermarket ECU, which is why I have this here for the Dodge. It's much easier to, I can scale the VE table any way I want. I can set limits any way I want. This is a much easier way to go. So if you're gonna go forced induction, I would say, but again, you have to be honest, right? If you're gonna go forced induction someday, which is, you know, never for most people, then don't worry about it. If you're building it for a turbo from the start, then start out with an aftermarket ECU. And I don't know if I'm ever going to show this on the channel. I don't know if I'm ever going to show Terminator X stuff on the channel. I tune them for people pretty regularly. I do about, I mean, for somebody who doesn't advertise and just has friends who are like, yeah, you're smart and you know what you're doing, could you help me out? I tune about 1 a month. So I don't know if I'm ever going to show that stuff on the channel, because what I don't want to happen, what I don't like is when I get on LS Swaps and Solutions and somebody's like, I got this 5.3 and I'm gonna put a Texas Speed dumpster fire cam in it, and you know, how do I tune it? The answer is tune it yourself with Tuner Pro. Get John Flanders or somebody like him to tune it for you for 150, 200 bucks. And that's the answer. Not, oh, Holley Terminator X Max is the only way to go. Spending $1,200 on a junkyard engine with a cam is madness. To tune it is madness. It's madness. You don't need to do that. And you're not gaining anything from doing that. I just watched Hot Rod Garage, and they took their twin turbo Camaro, their bone marrow, put a Terminator X on it, and then a bunch of other crap, and made like 20 more horsepower on a 1,000 horsepower car. Like that 20 horsepower is the back-to-back run deviation. So consider what you're doing, consider what your true goals are, consider what your abilities are, and make your decision from there. If you're going with a near stock or stock swap and you don't want to do anything, you can buy a $200 harness and a $200 tune, and for 400 bucks you can be up and running. If you have a little bit of ability, you can be up and running for almost free, 50 bucks. If you're willing to go a little bit further, you know, you can do HP tuners. I would only do HP tuners nowadays if I had more than one vehicle to tune, which I do, but I'm not, you see, I'm not even doing it on a Dodge. I don't think I would use HP tuners anymore. I don't see the point in it at this point. When there's free tools and then there's aftermarket stuff, I would just, you know, I would just jump to the aftermarket stuff. But I don't know. Hopefully this helps. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear from you guys. Coconut would love to hear from you guys. You want to hear from the people of the YouTube? You want to hear what they have to say? She doesn't. She doesn't care. But thanks for watching, guys. And we'll see you next time on The Driveway Engineer.